Being unhappy will never feel like a big deal again because you'll experience it the same way you experience being tired. Once the spirit catches and is going strong, it feels even more like a fire in that it consumes almost everything in its path and it turns everything else into its own nature. You've seen fire in a forest do that, and you've seen the human spirit do that too. When truly excited leaders are inspired and aflame with passion for a cause, their enthusiasm is so contagious that the people around them catch the feeling, they catch fire. Once the spirit is really blazing, it consumes everything and everyone with a feeling of uplift and confidence. And it's all an invention. Not in the sense of being fake, but in the sense of being real. Just like the light bulb that Edison invented was real. The spirited person you invent yourself to be is just as real and can just as easily be turned on. After each meeting and conversation you have in your personal or professional life, ask yourself whether the person you just met with left feeling higher or lower. Are they further up or down their ladder as a result of meeting with you? Once you form this habit, you'll start to shape your conversations accordingly, and people will look forward to meeting with you. Your spirit will become something they feed on. We look throughout our lives for people who will make us happy and light our fires for us. And so we search and search. Come on, baby, light my fire. But we search in vain, because the fire can only start on the inside, not the outside. We've looked outside of ourselves prematurely, searching for help. We need to learn to break back into our prison of solitude, because it's not really a prison, it's a power station. It's where the switch is thrown. It's where the atom is split. The mistake we've made is to believe that we need to break on through to something further outside ourselves to find happiness. We think the further outside, the better. The longing to make that breakthrough is reflected in much of our most intriguing music, such as the music of Jim Morrison and the Doors. In The Leveling Wind, George Will makes a telling observation about the Doors. Quote, Jim Morrison's short, shabby life and his peculiar echo today express a longing that waxes and wanes like a low-grade infection but never quite disappears from temperate, rational, bourgeois societies. It reflects a vague, very vague desire, in the words of the Doors' anthem, to break on through to the other side. Through what? To what? Don't ask, the Doors didn't. People who talk like the Doors are not, as such people say, into details. End quote. But I think we do know through what and to what. The haunting and poetic music of the Doors, which I still love to hear, expresses our belief that happiness must be out there, on the other side of wherever we are. Somewhere over the rainbow. There's a place for us. Somewhere. Many sad and beautiful songs like the ones the Doors have recorded are a version of the dream that someday my prince will come. The longing is for someone to take our journey to the Spirit for us. But the kingdom of heaven is not beyond a star or waiting in some future land. The kingdom of heaven is within us, as a teacher who gave seminars many years ago taught. To think it is not within us is a tragic illusion that causes us to waste our lives turning mere humans into idols who can't deliver. Deepak Chopra quotes an anonymous Indian sage who expressed this tragic illusion perfectly when he said, "All your suffering is caused by a single superstition. You believe that you live in the world when in truth the world lives in you." Can we really perceive, in a way that's clean and clear, how much spirit we have inside us? It is well known that the Doors took their name from the William Blake passage about the doors of perception, but it's also obvious that they didn't fully understand the meaning of Blake's famous words. Quote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite, unquote. The doors of perception are inside our own minds. They're not out there. The job of cleaning is an inside job. You can clean your life up, you can open the door. You can notice each and every victim's thought you think. You can listen to yourself speak and notice when you're being cynical for no reason. You can study the link between fatigue and pessimism and learn ways to get your energy up. You can experience firsthand the wisdom in Gandhi's advice to be the change you wish to see in others. Pessimism specializes in criticizing others and thinking that happiness depends on them changing. You can learn to notice when you yourself are specializing in that. You can learn to replace that thinking with more creative thinking. You can learn to clean out everything that muddies up your perception and stops you from seeing the infinite possibilities inside you. You can invent someone amazing if you want to. In our teen years, we unconsciously make a death mask to wear. It's shaped from our embarrassments, real and imagined. Then we call the mask our personality. The mask hides the love of life we had as children. That love is all we had, and now we've hidden it and covered it up so the air can't get in. Personalities are not fun, vibrant things. They are what we crawl inside to die. Freedom from this death mask is found in enthusiasm and excitement. It's found in spirited self-creation, inspired by a project, a purpose, or a game we've decided is worth winning. In games, we find our lost love of life. If we will become aware of the possibilities of ever-expanding self-invention, we can then look to express a self that surprises us a little more each time. A self not yet fully realized or habituated. We don't have to do it in huge ways either. The smaller the better. Tiny personality changes here and there inspire growth in us constantly. Colin Wilson refers to this continuous personality expansion as spiritual metamorphosis. In fact, Wilson says in his Anatomy of Human Greatness, quote, "The refusal to keep repeating the act of spiritual metamorphosis is the reason that all great artists cease to develop," unquote. Like Picasso, who regressed into immaturity in his later paintings, like Elvis Presley, who took his journey backward, like Dylan Thomas, who crawled back into the womb of alcohol. Behind the death mask of human personality, there is a life force dying to express itself and be happy. It's the child's natural love of life. When Emerson said, "Nothing great was ever created without enthusiasm," he wasn't just talking about works of art. He was talking about individual lives. No one lives a great life without reconnecting to the enthusiasm they had in childhood. And anyone can make that connection, anytime. It has nothing to do with age. In fact, people often use the aging process as a cover story to hide their avoidance of this effort. It has nothing to do with circumstance, and it does not depend on other people. The Spirit is in us already. It is the love behind the mask. If I were to write you a letter today, I might write the following. Dear listener, you really can reinvent yourself. You did it constantly when you were little, and you can do it again now. All your life you've been told, just be yourself. And that was strange advice. It was the worst thing you could have listened to. It was other fearful people trying to enroll you in the worldwide human conspiracy of frozen personality. As a child, you knew in your soul that you didn't know how to be yourself. You knew the advice made no sense because there was no self to be. There were many yous, and you invented new ones all the time for the fun of it. As a child, you had energy. When you were born, you entered this world trailing clouds of glory. You were connected to your spirit, and you knew that happiness came from taking effective action upon the universe. That was your fun. You shouted out with joy as you ran across the playground to meet a friend.